Fatigue. One feels fatigue after walking a long distance, after dancing, and after sexual activity. In this kind of fatigue, there is dizziness, perspiration, inactivity of the limbs, yawning, and very heavy breathing. One day, Yasoda was chasing Krishna in the yard after he was offended her. After a while, Yasoda became very fatigued, and therefore she was perspiring, and her bunch hair became loosened. This is an instance of becoming fatigued because of working too much. Sometimes all of the cowherd friends of Krishna, along with Balaram, dance together in some ceremony. At this time, the garlands of their neck will move, and the boys will begin to perspire. Their whole bodies become wet from their ecstatic dancing. This is an instance of fatigue caused by dancing. Nectar of devotion, Ki Jai. And we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 3, Gachendra's Prayers of Surrender, text 27. Is it there? Okay. Yoga Randita Karmana Ridi Yoga Pipavite Yogino yeah. Yam Prapashyanti Yogesham Tam Nato Smiham Yogarandita Karmano Yogarandita Karmano Ridi Yoga Vipavite Ridi Yoga Vipavite Yogino Yam Prapashyanti Yogino Yam Prapashyanti Yogeshantam Nalosmiham Yogeshantam Natosmiham Yogarandita Karmano Ridi Yoga Vibhavite Yogino Yam Prapashyanti Yogeshantam Natosmiham Yogarandita Karmano Vidi Yoga Vibhavite Yogino Yam Prapashyanti Yogeshantam Natosmiham Yogarandita Karmano Vidi Yoga Vibhavite Yogino Yam Prapashyanti Yogarandita Karmana. Persons whose reaction to fruitive activities has been burned up by Bhakti Yoga. Within the core of the heart. Yoga Bhavite. Completely purified and clean. Yogina. Mystic who are competent. Yam. Unto the personality of Godhead who. Prapashyanti. Directly see. Yoga Isham. Unto that personality of Godhead. the master of all mystic yoga. Sorry, no. The master of all mystic yoga. Tam, and to him, Nata, as me, offering obeisances. Aham, I. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, the Super Soul, the Master of all mystic yoga, who is seen in the core of the heart by perfect mystic, who they are completely purified and free from the reactions of fruitive activities by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The king of the elephants, Gajendra, simply accepted that there must be someone who has created this cosmos manifestation and has supplied its ingredients. This should be admitted by everyone, even the most determined atheist. Why then do the non-devotees or atheists not admitting this? The reason is that they are polluted by the reaction of their fruitive activities. One must be free from all the dirt accumulated within the heart due to the fruitive activities performed one after another. One must wash off this dirt by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Yoga Randita Karmana. As long as one is covered by material nature's mode of ignorance and passion, there is no possibility of understanding the Supreme Lord. Tadarashas tamovava karma loba yaschaye. When one is free from the mode of ignorance and passion, one becomes free from the lowest qualities, kama and loba, lust and greed. Nowadays, there are so many yoga schools to encourage people in developing their lusty desires and greed through the practice of yoga. People are therefore very much fond of this so-called yoga practice. The actual practice of yoga, however, is described here and authoritatively stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 12:13:1. Dhyanavastita tat gatena manasa pasyanti yam yogina. A yogi is one who is always meditates on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5:38. Premanchana churita bhakti bilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu bilokayanti yansyama sundaramachintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Yamasundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salt of love. The Bhakti Yoga constantly sees Yamasundar, beautiful Lord Krishna, with his blackish bodily hue. Because the king of the elephant, Gajendra, thought himself an ordinary animal, he thought himself unfit to see the Lord. In this humility, he thought that he could not practice yoga. In other words, how can those who are like animals in the bodily concept of life and who have no purity of consciousness practice yoga? In the present day, people who have no control over their senses, who have not understanding of philosophy, and who do not follow religious principles or rules and regulations are nonetheless pretending to be yogis. This is the greatest anomaly in the practice of mystic yoga. Yoga randita karmana ridi yoga vivavita yogino yam prapashyanti yogeshantam natosmiham. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, the Super Soul, the Master of all mystic yoga, who is seen in the core of the heart by perfect mystic when they are completely purified and free from the reactions of fruitive activities by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumiritam Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse explains about humility of Gajendra and how he fell unfit to see the Lord. In fact, one may wonder how just a stupid elephant could see the Lord. But Gajendra was not an ordinary elephant. In fact, he was a great devotee in his previous life. And he was not born in an ordinary place in the material world. He was born in the heavenly planets, which already tell us that he was special and he had a lot of pious activities. It's not everyone can be born in the heavenly planets. And he was in this very special place. It's in the Trikuta mountain. In the Trikuta mountain, there are 3 mountains. One is made of iron, the other one is made of silver, the other one is made of gold. And it is said that the demigods, they go to the mountain of gold and they take some of the gold and made some beautiful gold ornament for their wives. And the atmosphere in the Trikuta mountain is exactly like in the kingdom of Indra. So Gajendra was enjoying life without any worries, without any perplexities. And he was always defending, protecting his families. And he was so powerful that they said that animals, just by the smell of Gajendra, will run away. And smaller animals like wolves, foxes, all the other small animals, they will always go close to Gajendra because they knew that we are protected next to him. So this is a atmosphere, and this is a place in where Gajendra was living. And he was enjoying life. He didn't have any worries. Even though Prabhupada mentioned that he was also working very hard. Gajendra was working very hard because when he will go to the lake, he will splash his family. He will drink water and give to his family. And he didn't mind all this hard labor because he was in the bodily concept of life and he was attached to family life. So understanding all this, understanding how conditioned he was to all the attachment he had, he was feeling unfit to pray to the Lord. And can you imagine that the Lord appeared before an animal? That is so uncommon. And practically we don't see it in any other stories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very rare when the Supreme Lord comes personally and he shows himself and he chastised whoever was creating that disturbance. In that case, when Lord Vishnu came, he pulled out Gajendra and the crocodile out of the water, and he cut off with his Sudarshan chakra the head of the crocodile. So after that, or even when he was in this afflicted condition, he remembered that, hey, there is a Supreme, and I should pray to him. And he started to remember all this his past activities as a devotee of Krishna. And this helped him to invoke the mercy of the Lord to the point that the Lord decided to come personally and give him full protection. So this is like a short summary of what we are reading today about the humility of Gajendra, that feeling that I'm just an elephant. How can I see the Lord? How can I offer prayers? I don't have any knowledge. And this is the position of the devotee. He's always feeling unfit to receive the grace of the Lord, but instead he always hankering for that mercy. A few days ago, I had a dream with Mayapur Sashi for the first time. I never had any dreams with the deities. And it was very strange because Lord Chaitanya, I think it was Lord Chaitanya, the big Mayapur, was lying down. And he was blissful. He was so blissful. His face was so blissful. So what I did, I took the feet of Lord Chaitanya and pull him towards me. And then I put my feet I put my head in his feet. So I was thinking, what is the meaning of that? But after a few days, I understood that we should make some endeavor to get the mercy of Krishna. We need to try to pull Krishna towards us. Not just prayer, please Krishna help me, please Krishna give me mercy, but we should do something about it. We should increase our sadhana, we should increase our practice and not just saying something externally. And this is what Gajendra was aware of, that it's not just about saying prayers, but we need to really, really endeavor to see the Lord. And but devotee never feel qualified. And this is the case of another great devotee. This is the case of most great devotees that we know of, but especially Krishna Kishore Das Babaji, that today we have the mercy of celebrating his disappearance day. So I would like today is also the first day of Bhishma Panchaka, and it's a very, Sorry?
Is it Calgon today or Calgary or
I don't remember that. But it's a very, very auspicious day. And normally they say that these days they give more benefit than all the previous days. So it's recommended that we fast and we increase our sadhana in these 5 days. So in India, they offer in these 5 days, I was reading different articles. Some of them are unknown to us because we live in the West and we don't have knowledge of that things. Anyway, I would like to dive a little bit into the life of Gorkishore Das Babaji, because this is a very important personality in our parampara, and he is also the personification of that humility that Gajendra is showing here. It is said that Gorkishore Das Babaji, he never accepts service of anyone. He never allowed, and he only had one disciple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but he didn't even accept service from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Can you imagine the humility of Gorkishore Das Babaji? So Gorkishore Das Babaji was born in Bangladesh, modern Bangladesh. Namagoura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye. This is a very famous verse describing Gorkishore Das Babaji. And they said he's the personification of Vairagya, Sashak Vairagya Murtaye. He's the form of the Vairagya. He's the personification of this renunciation. And his father was a Vaishya. He was born in a Vaishya family. He was not born in the in a Brahminical family. He was like Krishna, born in a Vaishya family. And as many of the cases in those days, when he was between 6 and 11, they got him married. So when he got married, and he spent some devotees, they say he spent 20 years, and others say they spent like 28 years in family life. But after that, he had a big desire to go to Vrindavan. He was in Bengal. And when his wife passed away, he went to Vrindavan. And he immediately took Babaji Besh, he took Babaji straight away. And he started to live a very, very austere life. And at that time, he was just running around Vrindavan, sometimes naked, sometimes dressed, sometimes unaware whether he was dressed or naked, just running around calling for the mercy of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And seeing that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that time, he wanted his son to take initiation from Gorkishore Das Babaji. But Gorkishore Das Babaji, he didn't want. First, Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked Gorkishore Das Babaji, and Gorkishore Das Babaji said no. And then he inspired his son to go and beg for this initiation. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati went and he begged, please give me initiation. And Gorkishore Das Babaji said, no way. I'm not giving initiation to anyone. And then he insisted 2-3 times. And then finally, Gorkishore Das Babaji said, okay, I will ask Mahaprabhu. So what does it mean? Mahaprabhu was gone from this planet long before. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came next day. So did you ask Mahaprabhu whether you can give me initiation? And Gorkishore Das Babaji said, oh, I forgot to ask him. Come another time. So like this, he kept coming, but Gorkishore Das Babaji was not inclined to give him initiation. There is some other cases in the Vaishnava history where the disciple is really insisting of that initiation, like in the case of Ramanujacharya. It is said that Ramanujacharya, he went 18 times to ask for initiation, and the Guru said no, 18 times. And then after 18 times, he got initiated. He decided to give him initiation. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, I think, okay, maybe this is the case. I need to keep asking for mercy until he decided. But at one point, he was so desperate, he said, okay, if you don't give me initiation, I will drown in the Ganges, and that's it. I will finish my life, because there is no point for me to be in this world without being initiated by you, without receiving diksha from you. So in that moment, Gorkishore Das Babaji, he was so impressed by the sincerity of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, so he gave him initiation in the same day. And but he never accepted any service. He didn't want to accept any service from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati or from anyone else. And he was, one of the characteristics of Gorkishore Das Babaji is that he was extremely renounced in every sense. He will eat very austerely, and he will sleep in a cave or under a tree every night. And it was very difficult to follow this. Imagine, you have your guru that is sleeping every night. You want to have association, he's sleeping every night under the different tree. So it was very also difficult for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to follow his program. And there are so many, some people consider him like a avaduta, someone that cannot be understood by ordinary calculation. Like one time, he started to eating mud and sand. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati asked Guru Maharaj, why you are doing this? Why you are eating mud? And he said, I need to chastise this rascal tongue, because this tongue wanted to eat something which was not offered to Krishna. So I need to chastise the tongue. So he started eating some mud and some. And another time, it was during winter time. And I don't know if you know, but Anjali Mataji, for sure she knows, that in winter, India can be very cold. Like December, January can be really cold, sometimes colder than here, because they don't have any facilities, no heating system, nothing. So it was very, very cold in that winter. So Gorkishore Das Babaji wanted to sleep another half an hour. This happens normally in winter. You see the alarm goes off, but you see maybe I can sleep another half an hour. So that was the case that day with Gorkishore Das Babaji. He wanted to sleep another half an hour, but then all of a sudden they saw him jumping in the Govinda Kunda, in the freezing water of Govinda Kunda at 2:00 in the morning. So they asked him, Babaji Maharaj, what are you doing? Why are you jumping in Govinda Kunda? It's so freezing. He said, no, this rascal body wanted to sleep another half an hour, so I need to chastise it. And of course, these activities cannot be understood by ordinary person, especially when we identify with the body and the mind. But these self-realized souls, they understand that I'm different from this body, I'm different from the desires of this body as well. So he performed this kind of unusual activities, very difficult to understand. And from our perspective, we can see that when we hear that somebody is from our perspective, if we see somebody who had that type of life, we see that their life is very dry. How can we live without eating nice things, sleeping in a nice place? How can we live without these things? It's beyond our understanding. But we should understand that devotees like Gorkishore Das Babaji, they are complete in bliss. In every part of their life, they are absorbed in the love of Radha and Krishna, and they are totally blissful. And they don't feel the external influence of the mode of nature like we feel. For them, life is blissful, is completely blissful, and there is no pain, there is no suffering. Even toward the end of his life, Gorkishore Das Babaji started to get blind. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke with him. She said, Babaji, you are getting blind. Why you don't go with my son, with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to Calcutta? They can give you treatment, they can treat you. And we can say that, we could think that he will say, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. Imagine you're getting blind. Somebody's offer you treatment, you will say, yes, of course, I will do it. But no Gorkishore Das Babaji. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur told him, he just started running towards the river, and nobody understood why. That point there was a Saraswati river. So he jumped in the river, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, they have to, and all the villagers came to see what's all the commotion. And they pull him out, they're trying to pull him out. But Gorkishore Das Babaji disappeared for 45 days, and nobody knew where he was. And then finally, he was fine, he appears, and they asked, why did you behave like that? Why didn't you accept the treatment? Why did you disappear? And he said, I don't like to cause inconvenience to anyone. And if my blindness will cause any disturbance in your heart, I don't want it. I prefer to be blind. So you can imagine. But of course, he was not blind because Krishna was guiding him. Like we need eyes to guide us, but in the case of Gorkishore Das Babaji, Krishna was guiding. Krishna was holding him by the hand and bring him wherever he need to go. Another time, he appeared 2:00 in the morning in his mat in his temple in Navadvip. And the people were asking him, how did you reach here? He was already blind. He said, how did you reach here? You need to cross to the forest. You need to cross the river 2:00 in the morning. He said, how did you? It's so difficult path. It's not just a straight path. It's very difficult place. How did you reach here? And Gorkishore Das Babaji just chuckled and he said, this boy was helping me. And you know who boy? Which was the boy? The one with the peacock feather on his head. So he was always feeling the presence of Krishna. Krishna was always guiding him in every aspect of his life. And but sometimes people criticized him for his unusual behavior. One time, someone gave him a very expensive chadar, and he kept it very nicely, and he was taking nice care of the chadar. And then someone else, a rich merchant, came and gave him some rupees, and he tied the rupees with his cloth, and he was keeping very nicely the coins. And every day he was counting the coins, and he was making sure that the coins were there, nobody steal them. So people start to criticize him. He say, why he's behaving like this? He is a Babaji. Why he needs such expensive chadar? Why he need these coins? Why he not just give them away? What is the need for that, for a renounced person like that? And so somebody questioned him. And of course, after some time, he gave the chadar away, he gave the money away, he gave to another devotee. But when they questioned him, he said, I just want to engage them in service. I just want to engage these people in service. He didn't want to use anything he was not using the money of his chadar for sense gratification, but he wanted to engage these people who gave him. And so we see also this in the life of Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada, he engaged even what crazy people will give to him. He just wanted to engage. It's not that he needed, but he just wanted to engage. And this is a characteristic of Gorkishore Das Babaji. Even though he was not a preacher as such, sometimes people will come asking for advice. But because he had such a spiritual vision, he could see the intention of a person. So sometimes he will neglect them completely. He will completely ignore them when they come with materialistic issues. And sometimes he will preach to them, but more often he will just sit close to the place where people pass a stool, and he will chant there all day long. So materialistic people will not bother him. So he was considered a Bhajananandi. And we can think that Vachananandi is somebody who is not as merciful as Gostianandi, like Prabhupada said. No, we have our movement is not a Vachananandi movement, it's a preaching movement. And we can think that Gorkashodas Babaji is a Vachananandi, so he is not as merciful as Gostianandi, but we should understand that when devotees like this with the purity of Gorkashodas Babaji, they chant, they influence everyone around them, even though not preaching directly to them, but just by their presence, by their sadhana, by their understanding and their connection with Krishna, they influence other people. So this is the case of Gorkashodas Babaji, that even though he was not giving class like Bhaktivinoda Thakur or other acharyas, he would never give class. But he was just practicing Krishna consciousness so intensively that he was an inspiration for everyone. He was an inspiration for all the Babajis, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And he lives in Vrindavan for 30 years. But in one point, and who can understand the mind of Gorkashodas Babaji, he decided that he was not qualified to live in Vrindavan. He's not qualified, who is? So he decided to go to Navadvip, because Navadvip is the place of where you receive the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is more merciful than Krishna. And then he remained in Mayapur for many years. I think he left his body when he was around 85. And he didn't have any deities. Actually, he had one deity. He had one stone. It was not a Shalagram, it was not a Govardhan Shila. It was the stone in which he carved the Mahamantra Hare Krishna. He carved the Mahamantra Hare Krishna in a stone, and he was doing Abhishek every day to that stone. And he was chanting 128 rounds every day. So this is the humility of Gorkashodas Babaji. He was not feeling qualified like Rajendra. He was not feeling qualified to worship the Lord, but their life, every single movement, every breath of his life was a worshiping of Krishna. So this is what we can take inspiration from when we read about these devotees, even though we know we cannot imitate them, because we need to have a higher taste to perform any of his activities. Sometimes we see devotees, without having the higher taste, they're trying to imitate Gorkishodas Babaji. I remember in Mayapur, I met one Prabhu, little bit crazy. He was sleeping at the bank of the Ganga, and he only drinking coconut water. I knew him. I met him in Europe before, so I spoke with him. He said, "No, I threw my passport in the Ganges, and I'm just living here at the bank of the Ganga and just drinking coconut water, nothing else." He was drinking the coconut water and eating the pulp of the coconut. But he didn't last a long time. Obviously, after he disappeared, nobody knows what happened to him. Maybe he died. I don't know. Anyway, but without having a higher taste, we cannot imitate the activities of a great personality. So now we decided to start to eat mud and sun. It will not work. It will not work. We will bloop after a few days, because they do that, but they have a higher taste. They have another enjoyment which is far, far, far superior to the gratification of the senses. So for them, it's not so important, it's not so relevant. But if we try to imitate them, it will not last. And we see also in the time of Prabhupada, devotees, they just wanted to chant Hare Krishna, and we see devotees, they want to. I have a friend who took Babaji from Argentina, And again, after some time he disappeared, because you cannot keep this type of life if we don't have this higher taste. So for us, the main thing is to take inspiration and to take guidance from devotees like Gorkishore Das Babaji, and to keep him in a highest regard, and to do the main thing that he was doing. He was chanting Hare Krishna, and he was demonstrating by worshiping that stone with the shalaram that actually this is the highest type of worship, to chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna. So for us, this is the main process, to chant the Mahamantra, and to find inspiration in these great personalities. And in this way, we know that one day we will find perfection by following in their footsteps. So I'm going to finish here. I don't know if there's any comment or question.
Thank you for this class. Interesting enough, you ended on the point that I wanted to ask. So, when following the footsteps of the previous acharyas, how do we do that without imitating the behavior? Especially this one that goes through Kishore Das Babaji.
So we need to see what is the main activities of these great personalities. And in the case of Gorkishore Das Babaji, his main activity was to chant Hare Krishna. He was, I forgot the name, Manohar, I think it was Manohar Babaji. He had a very good friend. It was Kishore Das Babaji in Vrindavan. His name, I think, was Manohar Babaji. And Manohar Babaji was chanting Hare Krishna 17 hours a day, non-stop, 17 hours a day. And then he was testing Krishna every day. He said, I'm not going to beg for food. I will go out of my cave. He was living in a cave. I will go out, and if Krishna wants, he will send me he will send someone to give me some food. And this will happen every single day. He will chant his 17 hours, and then he will go out and somebody will come and give him food. And sometimes, to test Krishna even more, he will go out in a time when there were not so many people around. When there was just a few people walking around, and he will go out, and always somebody will give him food, no matter what, in which time of the day or in which circumstances. So this is this devotees. The main activities is to chant Hare Krishna, and to emphasize that this is the process for Kali Yuga. There is no other process. All the other processes are just a support to support the chanting of Hare Krishna. So when we say we need to follow the footsteps, means that we need to see what they were the main activities of these devotees and trying to do the same to our standard, not to chant, imitate him by chanting 128 rounds, but because he had the taste for it. If you had the taste, you can chant more. But if you don't have a taste, at least we should chant what is prescribed for us. He said that the lips of Gorkishore Babaji were always moving. Whenever you see Gorkishore, his lips were always moving because he was always chanting, non-stop. So this cannot be imitated, because devotees like that, it's not that they do it out of duty. They love to chant Hare Krishna so much they cannot stop. You cannot stop them. You can beat them up. You can do whatever you want, but they will not stop chanting Hare Krishna. So they have so much pleasure in our state. The reason we don't chant Hare Krishna more is because we don't have the taste. But when you relish something tasty, you want more of it. You want more and more. And there is so much nectar. The scripture said there is so much nectar in the word Krishna. But like explained in the Upadeshamrita, now we are sick, so we don't taste like the nectar of the holy name. But when we become pure and pure, we will experience that nectar, and then we will not stop chanting. We will keep chanting continuously, not because it's a duty, but because we want, because we are enjoying it, because we have great taste for it. So, you wanted to say something, Reynolds? I had the impression you had to say something. No. Okay. You want to say something?
Where's the information that you're getting about Gandaki as far as you found?
I heard in a lecture. I need to check.
There is a book called The Seven.
This is about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Excuse me.
There's a book called Babaji Maharaj as well, no? By Bhakti Prakash Maharaj. Is that about Jagannath Das Babaji?
Well, yeah, this was Amarendra. Amarendra, his name is, no?
Oh, yeah.
Does he say where he's getting it from?
No. I don't think he said.
There's a book called Saints of Vrindavan. Lots of stories about Babaji's. They're actually in French.
Yeah, there's Saints of Bracha and Saint of Navadvip. This is a most, for me, there was this amazing book, Saints of Braj, by Dr. Kapoor, who was a friend of Srila Prabhupada. I remember there was a Prabhupada disciple who went to South America because we had it in English, and he was reading so amazing stories about all these great devotees in Vrindavan. We can tell some of the stories another time. I still remember some of them.
I had one story that these rich people were asking Gandaki country whether they could do any service for it. And I think eventually they built a bunch of nuclear for it. And he was looking at it and he said, "Is there any other service we can do?" And he said, "Yeah, can you pass through the door?" So that it keeps people like you alive.
I was listening that they wanted to buy a Bachan Kutir. He said, "Why? I already have a Bachan Kutir." In a place where people pass a store, I already have a Bachan Kutir. Okay, I will finish here. Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji ki jai, Sri Damodar Brata ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Baba.